So I am out here in Cotton. No, that's not the name of the place. It's above Cottonwood in, I don't know the name of the town, but it's above Cottonwood in Arizona. So I was at the rec center today, and they are hiring transit drivers, which coincidentally, CC Motion. What's good, fam? How you doing, man? So I was at the rec center today in Cottonwood and hiring transit drivers part-time. Now, right now I'm working part-time in Sedona at a gas station, third shift, because as I said in previous uploads, the signal out here is terrible. So when you're Ubering, it's pretty challenging to not lose your signal or directions, and I really don't want to run into that anymore. So I've been looking at different jobs. It said open until June 21st, 2024. So maybe I'm not going to apply for that. Minimum. The possession of a commercial driver's license Class B with passenger endorsement is required to obtain 30 days upon a CDL. I don't have that. Looks like I'm not going to be filling out that. Even though you don't need a CDL to drive a shuttle bus. And I know because I lived in one and drove around in one for 3.5 years. Well, I'll still check it out, maybe. Sorry I haven't been uploading stuff in a while. I'll tell you what, I don't know if YouTube has like got a certain quota or way they do things, or I'm tagging things wrong or not making content good enough. I mean, I'm doing a how-to series on everything that I'm uploading. I'm doing hiking series having to do with living the van life, and it seems like no matter what I do, I run into a roadblock where I don't get any views on my shorts feed anymore, which is pretty challenging. It's nice to see your channel grow when you go from getting like 250 to 500 views, within a 24-hour period to getting like 1 or 12, and you haven't really changed the content and you haven't really changed what you're doing. It's like, well, how did that happen? Why did that happen? And then YouTube sent me a letter saying that they are going to be working on why I haven't been getting views, because I did ask. I reported something that said, hey, I'm not getting any views. I don't know what's going on with that. So we'll see what happens. And for those of you that are tuned in, I know CC Motion 1998's been here. He's on every time we do a live upload, but this is a channel that's entertaining in nature. Right now, I am currently working on a whole bunch of creative endeavors. If you check the very good morning, Samuel M. Well, it is nighttime for me, so I'm assuming you're across the world. And the election in school. Oh yeah. Did you figure out problem 5 yet? No, I haven't figured it out. Well, that would make sense of why they are looking for certain content. But anyhow, right now I converted a Transit Connect into a home, and I am traveling. I went through Utah and put up some things for that. I went through the Grand Canyon on the north end and hiked that. I've got some videos on that you can check out on the shorts feeds. You can check them out on the live uploads, the stories of the kind of the crazy stuff that happened as a result. Twice I got lost. One time was actually really scary when I got lost, because it was the first time I went out hiking by myself. And after I'm done here in Arizona, I'm going to be going down to Florida for the winter. Got some family stuff going on there. I'm going to try to get situated and continue to do the van life. Planning on saving some cash. I'm convinced you never sleep. I do sleep, but it's in like increments. Wait, what's up? The waitress just said the same thing. I'm always up here at Denny's late at night. She's like, you don't sleep. I do sleep, but it's like, it just depends. Like sometimes I'll sleep like 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes I'll sleep for 12. Like today I slept for 12 hours, but I do work. So I'm not like a person who doesn't give back to society and pay my taxes. Even though I'm doing the van life, like that's the one way to make extra cash when you're doing the van life is to definitely work and save your cash. But I have been eating out a lot, which is dumb because I'm spending money that I don't need to be spending. But at least I'm giving back to people that need it, like the waitresses and waiters and cooks and all that fun stuff in corporate America, because they deserve all of their money because they're good at making it. So I'll give it to them. Anyhow, I'm trying to think. So yesterday I did preparing for the South Rim hike on Bright Angel Trail, which is going to be in 2 weeks, possibly 3. Everybody told me I'm going when it's cold, but I don't care because, I'm going to hike that thing. Also, there's a channel called RV Living with a guy named Bob who interviews people that do the van life. I'm going to be on that in Sedona in 2 weeks. He's meeting me out there. So if you want to check out his channel, it's called RV Living. He's got like 750,000 subscribers and followers and people that are into the van life. He's got tons of episodes. If you're into this kind of stuff, like I would definitely check out his channel. So he's going to be interviewing my Transit Connect, because I haven't really, I've shown how to build a Transit Connect, how to do the van life inside the Transit Connect, but I haven't like showed my complete, because I'm waiting until I go on his. And there's still a couple things I got to do. Like I bought some paint tonight at Walmart. Is the van life worth it? That's a great question. So it just depends on what you're looking for in life. Socially, it's different because people don't relate to people who want to live in vans. So it's kind of like people, I don't want to say they are different to you, but they don't relate to you. So it's like you're kind of like the third wheel everywhere you go when you're in group settings if they all live in houses and apartments. But you can't help but wonder like how you're saving money. You know what I mean? As long as you work. Like if you do the van life and you don't work, that's just, to me, that's not smart, because that's a recipe for trouble. But if you work, it's worth it as far as saving the money and the sacrifice. Like I was only able to get a job down here part-time while I'm in Arizona. Now I'm making $15.50 an hour. They started me out, and of the money I make per month, I had ChatGPT write me out a budget. And of that money that I make per month, I keep and pocket $800 of it. So, and that's working part-time. So like financially, it's definitely worth it. And it's an adjustment for sure. Like if you're not used to living in a small area for an extended period of time, that can be super stressful, and you have to get a routine to not get cluttered. You have to clean every day. You have to memorize where you put everything so you don't lose it real easy, all those different things. And then the freedom, people are like, oh, well, the freedom, it's definitely, oh, thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I got the job last time I was on here. So yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. So here's the thing, like, again, it just depends on what you want out of life and what you believe is happy. So, like, if you're a guy and you're doing the van life and you think you need to date all the time, like, you better kick that idea out the window, because, like, you know what I mean? Women don't want instability, and you can't be like going on dates all the time and living in a van. That's just not realistic. So. Now, if you don't mind being alone and you like spending time by yourself, or you like to work on creative stuff, or have a lot of free time to get things done that you want to do, like I'm doing, like I'm rewriting a movie script that I had made it like to the third round into some contests, and then they kicked it and said, hey, we don't want to discourage you, keep writing, but we're not going to use you in this round. So I got in pity for a little while, then I revamped and I'm rewriting the script now. If you have again, I run this YouTube channel, so if you want to have time to be able to run the YouTube channel, I have an editing guy who does all my editing for me. So I'm doing a lot of the content, the recording, the writing for everything, and then for all the how-to episodes, I do all the physical labor. I buy all the material. I haven't had any sponsorships or any type of affiliate marketing run through yet, and God knows I've tried. I've gone to Amazon, and every one of my episodes where it says how to, and it's not just as Jim sees it. If you go in the description link, you can get affiliate links for all the material and the tools that I use on how to create and build and the different things that you need for. And again, my how-to is just an intro to doing the van life. This is my third one, and it's been the simplest, but I feel like it's the most effective because I know what to do. The cost was maybe $500 total, not including the van itself, which was, I don't know, 25,000. So I built my credit and did a whole bunch of stuff, and then took the leap. And I did get some help from family, you know what I mean? Like, not with money, but I was given a car by my family, and then I kept that car for about 15,000 miles, and then I was like, I had this dream after I went to like this religious, spiritual type weekend, and this dream with this huge tree kept telling me, you need to go back to the wild. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I went to a car dealership, and I was like, if I get this, then I'll know. And within 10 minutes it was golden. And I had tried like 6 months prior to lease a van. So again, I think it's worth it, but you got to be prepared for a change. It's a total change. It's a complete change. It's a change in routine, a change in regimen. There's pros and cons with it. Like, if you don't get a newer vehicle, or even if you get a newer vehicle, like I had gotten this vehicle at the dealership, and 3-4 days after I had gotten the vehicle, the check engine light went on. So I bring it back in the dealership. I'm like, hey, what's going on here? They're like, oh, it was 2 sensors, so they fix it, right? Well, then it goes on again a month later or 2 months later, and I'm like, what are you doing? I paid you guys $25,000. Long story short, they didn't fix it. It was an EGR valve. It was a $700 fix on top of that, and I had to go to the Ford dealership, and luckily Ford warrantied the vehicle for me. So I was a day without a place to stay. So that's another thing you got to consider. You always got to have money in the bank, and you got to have backup plans for when things go wrong. You also got to consider, like, if you get sick. Like, and when I say you get sick, like, I had a false cancer scare during my second. There's a scar right there. My good buddy Jason did that. He cut that thing out of me, whatever it was. But I had a false cancer diagnosis, and I was living in the bus life. And the first thing he asked me, he's like, Chris, are you still living in the bus? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, you need to get back to Ohio and be around family where, you might need treatment, because it was, I wasn't registering like what was going on totally. When you get that kind of news, you don't really hear it the right way, I think. Everybody hears it differently, but I was like, oh, I just cut it out of me, and I just go back to work, and, or he's like, dude, if you need chemo, like, and I was like, oh. So you could get sick on the road, and you could be in big trouble. You just... but here's the thing for me. So I was paying money to an apartment, and they were idiots. They were total dictators. They just completely thought they were in charge. They didn't help unless you like threatened with a lawyer or threatened with calling the owner or anything like that. And they still wouldn't give me the number. So I'm living in this place under a lease for a year, which they lied to me about. They told me it was month to month, and it ended up being a year. So I was stuck there. And luckily it built my credit, but I mean, it's still totally shady, because it put me with way less money when I did end up going back out of the road in the van. So I'm going to be paying all that money to own what? Absolutely nothing. I've got a year of, I can go somewhere else and give somebody else my money and stay there for rent. So at least with the van, I can invest and possibly sell this thing. Well, I am going to sell it down the road when it's completely... I'm probably going to sell it in about 30,000 miles when I get near my warranty being up. because I made sure to get the like second warranty on for Ford, I think it was. I'll make sure to sell the vehicle. Then either I'm gonna get a new one, or I'm gonna buy some property in Florida. At least that's the plan, because life has a way of having its plans, and then we think we have plans that are gonna go along with that. So, but yeah, again, it all depends on what you want. So I didn't want to pay a bunch of money to people for something I didn't own anymore. A lot of people say, "Well, why don't you get a house?" Well, you need $20,000 from a bank to get a house, and then who owns that house? You know what I mean? You get a $200,000 house for 30 years. You got to have the same exact job, put up with the same assholes at work, same boss. He probably hates their life because they're stuck in the same predicament, puking their shit on you, and they can't because they got the power, and somebody's puking their shit on them because they don't want to be there either. So I was like, dude, I'm not satisfied with this mode of living. I was working 3 jobs. I had money in the bank. My credit score was 700. It's shit right now because I've been using my credit card like crazy, but I'm get that caught right back up. I can pay it. Like in the next 2 months, I could pay all my credit cards off because I'm doing the van life. And again, you can get in a car accident. So that's another thing you got to consider. If you get in a car accident, you're in deep shit. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. You could be living in a house and, get into a car accident. You can't work for a year. And then what are you going to do? Who's going to give you your money then? So it's like, I think it just depends on what you want out of life. I want an experiential life, I think is the right word. I don't want a life where I'm living linear. I want to live a life where I'm comfortable and living in circumference of my means. And right now my means are the van and just the basic things I have inside of there. My energy is going to be solar for a generator, and I just use the vehicle to charge my phone, charge my lighting. It's plug-in lighting that goes on the ceiling, which I'll be doing a how-to for my next how-to series. Best thing for lighting in a vehicle is something you can plug in and out of your little dash area with the cigarette lighter, because you don't have to worry about having wiring in the vehicle. I don't have any wiring in mine because I think that wiring leads to fires and you don't want that when you're on the road. I've seen videos where people had their place start on fire because of that. So it just depends on what you want. Everybody's different. Some people they go a year and they're like, I'm out. It takes a year to get used to doing the van life. That's the God's honest truth. It's going to take you 1 year. So it just depends. Putting in the grind. I hope one of them pays off. In the past 7 years, I've wrote a screenplay. I wrote probably 1,000 poems. I've made at least 1,000 electronic music songs. I've done 2 other YouTube channels. One has like 50 uploads. Another one has like 100. This one has like 257. I've read endlessly on how to try to create content. I have, it's been a grind. And I'm exhausted from it sometimes. Even tonight, like I'm reading, a thing for creative writing to help my writing skills. And I don't know, there's a part of me like down inside that's like, I'm over this. I'm done with the creative stuff. I'm just going to go to Florida and work in a gym. Because on top of that, all this time I've worked regularly. At one point I was in college for like 2 years. I remember once I was living in a barn with no heat in college. And that was what introduced me to the van life. Somebody told me about it. And then this whole time I've been working. I've had, hard labor jobs, easy labor jobs. And I'm like at my end, hopefully. Maybe I'm about to succeed though, right? I can't remember the lady's name, but there was a lady that discovered one of the elements that was undiscovered, and her mining it ended up giving her cancer. Maybe it was uranium. No, I don't think it was uranium. I don't know. It was an element though that she had discovered, and a bunch of male scientists were pissed about it. So like, they're like, no, this ain't good enough proof, and you got to go do this. And then she mined it exactly the way they asked her to, but ended up dying of cancer, radiation poisoning from it. But like, yeah, I think if you got a goal, like my goal is to sell the screenplay and just be able to write and make music and create content, and that be my job. But if that's not the universe's will, I'm still gonna do that stuff. But you know, I'd like to focus on just one thing, because this has been exhausting. And the whole time I trained strength and conditioning, high level strength and conditioning, because down the road I'll be doing how to stay in shape when you're doing the van life. Also, if you check out my shorts feeds, I've got a how to build an air conditioner, for like a mini air conditioner for under $50. I'll have that on the channel here eventually. I'm going to upload that as well. So, all right, enough about me. I've been talking for like 20 minutes straight, and my head is like, meh, when you get to that point. So what's going on with everybody there? How's everybody's week been? What did you eat for dinner today? I had a burger. I had the best burger in the world at, I can't remember the name of the restaurant. I'll ask everybody I went and ate with tomorrow. But man, it was amazing. It was an amazing burger. I'm waiting for somebody else. Let's see what you had for dinner today. Or is it going to take forever on going through? Listening to this pretty music in here. Oh, I don't know if any of you know this, but one of my favorite shows of all time is Trailer Park Boys, and they're coming out with a new movie in 2024. So it's going to be in the next 2 months, because it's going to be 2025 here in a little bit. And something about kitties. It had bubbles in it, and I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait. It's going to be absolutely amazing, because those guys are a riot, and the material they make is amazing. Fulton, what's up, man? How you doing? Oh yeah. So there was somebody on here that was like, "Good morning, sir, Samuel M. What part of the world are you from that it's good morning right now?" I would assume Europe. What about you, Fulton? Where are you from? Like, what part of the world? Are you in the United States? Are you in Europe? Are you in Africa? Are you in Britain? Are you in Germany? I think like 2 or 3 of those are in Europe. I'm not like good with all the continents. I know there's 7. So, do you remember me? Did we meet in Utah? Or right before you went to Zion? Is that? No. That's not Fulton. That's Fulton. I do remember you. You're a tall, skinny kid, right? I think. I've met a couple people that have come on the channel since I've been going across the United States, but I think I do remember you. Or you were that young dude from Ohio, I believe. Let me double check. Strike my memory. Where we meet? If you just tell me where we met at, I'll be on. When you were in the... Well, I've met a lot of people. It's not that I don't remember you. I'll probably remember you. I remember the name is like striking a memory. I'll probably... Was it at... was it in Ohio at Waffle House? Because I remember there was a group of 3 guys. I was like, woo! I was all amped up. It was a Friday night. I was with my buddy Jimmy. We got out of his van, and I'm like, follow As Jim Caesar. Ah! I was being wild that night. Met you when you were in the car. I know it was, when I was in the car. You gotta give me more, man. You gotta give me more. I see there's 4 other people on here. I wanted to say hello. Welcome to the channel, As Jim Sees It. I am not Jim, I am Chris. Jim is in the episodes of As Jim Sees It, but you gotta figure it out, like, where's Waldo? That's the story behind it. So if you figure out who Jim is, you know who Jim is. I subscribed and like your video. Hell yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate the subscription and the like of the video. Much appreciated the support. What? All right. What's Let's go on here. What is everybody's top 3 genres of music? Mine is definitely 60s rock. The 2 bands would be Pink Floyd and The Doors. 90s metal, I would say Fear Factory and Pantera, and the Far Beyond Driven album of Pantera. And then my third would be electronic music, ambient music, like stuff that has drones in it, and then obviously EDM, Deadmau5, but he's an electronic artist, so he does more than just EDM. But dubstep, I dig that. That's tight. That music amps you up. All right, who's next? Who up here? Let me see. CC Motion 98. I know we haven't talked about your favorite bands. We talked about foods the last time, but not bands. You know, one thing that I appreciate about Arizona is you can go to Denny's and get the all-you-can-eat pancakes, which not a lot of states have that anymore. I know Ohio doesn't, but they offer it out here, which is great. No, you know, I don't do any. I don't really do video games. Like I said, I write and make music, electronic music, but I also play guitar. I haven't played in like a year, but I can't. I don't know, man. Like chess, I'll play chess, but as far as like other video games, I can't really get into it. It's not my style. When I was younger, I did, you know, but now that I'm older, I don't know. It's just not. It doesn't give me the same fulfillment. Like when I was like, I remember I bought a PlayStation, I think 1, when I was like 18, and I had like a Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64 prior to that, and I bought Street Fighter, and when I played it, dude, it was weird. Like I just didn't appreciate it anymore, and I'm like, eh. And I get like that with stuff. Like I'll do something I can do it for 20, 30 years, you know? Like one thing, I loved fireworks from the age of 10 until 41. And then one day I blew off some fireworks and I'm like, this is no fun. I'm not doing it anymore. And I haven't done it since. And then like Cool Ranch Doritos. So I ate those when I was like, I don't know, like 6. I remember the first time I had them, I remember where I was at. I had them with the Three Musketeers, and I ate those things and I was instantly in love. And then I was in Florida in 2021, and I grabbed a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, opened them up and ate them, and they tasted gross. And I'm like, and ever since then, I just don't like them anymore. So it's like, once I don't like something anymore, I'm done. I'm not doing it no more. I'm going to do my best to stream. I mean, I could. It just, you know, it's hit or miss. With the live streams, it's like it all depends on my work schedule and like how far I am on the van. So tomorrow I got to paint the van. So the likelihood of me streaming is on the upswing for sure, because I'll be at Denny's and I'll be writing. But one thing that I always do is every 2 weeks I put up the how-to episodes for the van life, and they always have bloopers, so I try to keep them entertaining. Pretty soon here, I'm going to go back to the, once I'm done with the how-to series for how to build the van life, I'm going to do how to build a air conditioner for under $50, and then I'm going to do like a how to exercise when you're living on the road and living the van life. And I'm going to go back to kind of the entertainment side of like trying to make people laugh and goofy, funny stuff. So I'll put that up on Wednesdays or Thursdays, but every other Tuesday I put brand new content up. I put short stuff up, but again, like lately, every time I put a shorts up, it doesn't get any type of hits. Like even if it's like, I mean, I've been adding music, I've been making it so it's like kind of like a series. Like I'll start on a path, I'll go through the path, I'll talk, I'll be at the end of the path, tell a quick story and boom, it's done. And they just like stop like putting them through for whatever reason. Like they don't promote them like they used to. And it's kind of like that gets discouraging, especially when you've been doing YouTube as long as I have. When you're doing something and it consistently works and all of a sudden it drops off, you're like, well, why am I doing this? You know? And then it's hard to stay motivated to do things consistently time and time and time again. But they say like 10 years, 10,000 hours. So I just got to keep plugging away. But for sure, I don't know what time I'll stream, but I'll definitely stream tomorrow live. Later. Have a good night, man. And I am exhausted. All right, everybody. Same here. I got to roll. It's good chatting with y'all. Take it easy. Subscribe to the channel, hit like, share it with your friends. The adventure's only coming forth.